speaker at the theme conference. And I think in my case, expressly, after an entire day of some of the most distinguished and most brilliant people I've heard in a long time, I'm pretty much dead. But in retrospect, I just want to thank Willa and her team for this feeling of humility. And I want to thank all of you for being here. It's 4 o'clock on a Saturday. I'm looking outside, it looks gorgeous. And we're all here thinking of ways to change the world. So please cheers for that, shall we? All right, so before I start talking to you about starting block, you might have heard the word a couple of times today already. Before I talk to you about starting block and social innovation, about leadership and courage, about change and challenging the status quo, I want to tell you a little story. So who's familiar with this magnificent work of art? So we're going to call this person the faceless businessman. Now, a couple of years ago, there lived a faceless businessman. He had, a pretty good ride, good job, somewhere on the street, very close to a wall. He had good money. He worked 90 hours a week, but he didn't really care because the paycheck was coming in. He was able to go to fancy restaurants, drive a fancy car. Basically, you would think that he had a good life. But somehow, he wasn't content. He just wasn't satisfied. He was kind of like that Rolling Stones song, "Can't get no satisfaction, you do it or not." So the point is that he wanted to do something more. And the scary thing about this image is that unless you are all way smarter than I am, which you already are, a lot of us might end up like this. It's kind of sad, but we might. By the way, that faceless businessman was me. And for 5 years, that is what I did. Until a year and a half ago, or rather 2 years and a half, 2.5 years ago, somebody told me about Starting Bloc, and I became a Starting Bloc fellow. Now, the feeling that I got when I went to the fellowship was kind of like this picture. It was like when you're a kid, and someone takes you to this open field, and your mom lets go with your hand, and you just go run, and you're like, oh my God, it's an open field! And you just go crazy. I mean, looking back, you're like, my God, seriously, I don't know how my parents let me live. But no, seriously, that's how I felt. And the reason for all that, the reason for this excitement, the reason for this life-changing moment, the moment of obligation, which is a great term, by the way. Thank you to all who have said it and repeated it today, is Starting Bloc. Since 2005, Starting Bloc has been helping social innovators with the skills and the tools they need to effect change across all sectors. Seems like an easy thing to do, but it's actually kind of hard. Partially because we cover all sectors. So we're not just interested in social entrepreneurs only. We like entrepreneurs, we like innovators, we like for-profit venture people who just want to have a social aspect to it. So whether you're Cynthia Koenig from our London Institute who founded Wello Water Wheel, it's kind of cool actually. I'm told there's a difference between that and Hippo Water Wheel. I haven't figured it out. But you'd be amazed how many children, and specifically girls in Africa, are thankful to her because now their mom can get water and they can go to school. Whether you're Mike Del Ponte, I really wish Mike were here because he'd be amazed at the amount of love starting Sparksy is getting today. He's a Sparksy founder, also a Starting Bloc fellow. Whether you're Shabnam Agarwal, who started by exploring the issues of illiteracy in South Asia and is now actually permanently living there, founded Teach to all students learn better. And these are actually homeboys, by the way. They're based out of Boston. Jesse and Jason, who founded Emergent Energy Group, bringing green energy right here in Boston. Well, not right here, but close enough in Boston. Starting Bloc's theory of change centers around 2 catalysts. So the first catalyst is the change maker, the leader, the emerging leader, the innovator. Whatever you want to call it, actually that person is you, all of you. You are all change makers. You just don't know it yet. Some of you do, so that's why you're all brighter than me. But this is where we start. So we start with the Institute for Social Innovation, which is the gateway to the fellowship. A fellowship is a lifelong commitment. The institute lasts 5 days. You apply a TED-style application. You get selected. You get to select one of 3 institutes to attend: Boston, New York, and next year Los Angeles. 110 social innovators come together. For 5 days, they're immersed in social innovation. They learn everything there is to learn. They connect, they inspire. At the end of the day, they form a lifelong sort of buddy system. So then that takes us to catalyst number 2. Now catalyst number 2 actually is our institute. Now the institute has people like Jonathan Greenblatt from Ethos Water, who's an educator, Howard Buffett, who spoke to us on government and social innovation. And the institute has a very interesting, if you must, a structure. We believe in not just educating and obviously connecting, but we want you to actually be able to implement that. So we have something known as a social innovation competition, where you, as fellows at the institute, will get a chance to actually consult for an organization or a company that's facing some sort of challenge. Now in the past, we've had partners such as Starbucks, Zipcar, Emerge Global, and last year, well, this year, we had, we had Waters Corporation out here from Boston and Echoing Green. The point of all of this is that when you actually end up graduating from the institute and you become a fellow officially, you might have dreams. For some, it's to start their own venture. For some, it's to stay in your job. But whatever the dream is, what we tell you is that you can bring social innovation into your life. Whether that social innovation has to happen on a Sunday between noon and 8 p.m., that's fine by us. Because we all have two paths when we leave school, or for that matter, when we leave graduate school. One is we take the money, become the faceless businessman, we work, we make money, we buy a home, we drive a car, whatever. That's fine. But what if 5 years from now, in my case, 5 years from now, you decide, I can't do this. This is not me. That's fine. At Starting Bloc, we'll tell you how to make that jump from path 1 to path 2. Where path 2 is, how do I make money? How do I change the world? Where is the network going to be? What are the tools I'm going to get? When I quit my job earlier this year to work for Starting Bloc full-time, I told my grandfather, I'm quitting my job. I'm going to go work for this nonprofit. He's 96 years old. He doesn't even raise his head from the newspaper, and he looks at me, he kind of like raises his voice and he says, what took you so long? You were getting boring. Thanks, Grandpa, love you too. The truth is that we get set in our ways, and that's no fault of our own. It's the system. And that's what Starting Bloc is about. When we induct someone into our fellowship, what we're telling them is, regardless of when you decide to make that shift from becoming a regular person or an individual to a leader, come to us. We are your repository of connections. We will introduce you to people. You will know a ton of them just through being being a fellow at the institute. We'll have post-institute programs for you called Building Blocks, where you essentially get tools you need. You'll meet other, let's say, venture capitalists, other entrepreneurs, other leaders. You can get training on specific skills you need. All of this comes from just being a fellow. Truth is that moment of obligation might come much later, but that's fine. We're willing to invest in you because, like my friend Brett said earlier on, you all want to be leaders right now. You don't want to wait till you're 45 to do this. Because it's so much more fun changing the world when you're 25. Think about it. It's just more fun. For a moment, there are no cares. All that matters is the end goal. If this sounds interesting, and this is something you'd like to learn more about, I urge you to get interested, get involved. We have a booth out there, a table with a few informational files. Please come talk to me. There are quite a few fellows here in the house. Christina's here from our regional board in Boston. Amar, who spoke earlier, is the Starting Bloc 2009 fellow. And lastly, I'd like to leave you with the thought. We are working towards a more just and sustainable economy. That's our vision, and we urge you to come join us and learn with us. Thank you.